Hey, what are you doing? Huh? You shouldn't leave your young child alone every day. I reported it. You're the worst. Late at night, my neighbor suddenly yelled at me after a long day of overtime. I had no idea what he was talking about, and I don't have any children. My name is Emily, a 35-year-old nurse. I've been married to my husband, Michael, for 2 years. We met at a social mixer, where he approached me so enthusiastically that I couldn't help but start dating him. Michael is critical to me, a genuinely kind person who makes every day better. We began living together almost immediately after we started dating. Michael took the initiative to do the housework and even cooked for me. Since my job involves irregular night shifts, his help was invaluable. I fell more in love with him each day. About a year into our relationship, Michael proposed. I might cause you a lot of trouble, but I want to be with you forever. Please marry me, he said. Of course, I want to be with you forever, too, I replied, overjoyed. And so, we got married. Our life together didn't change much since we were already living together, but being newlyweds added an exciting spark to every day. Wow, it's nice. Just having a ring on your left finger makes you feel so happy, I told a junior at work. Thank you, but I'm happy, so maybe that's why I have that aura, I said with a smile. Wow, I need to get that aura, she exclaimed, making a funny gesture as if she was performing a ritual, scooping the air with both hands. Her movement was so hilarious that I almost spit out my coffee. Despite the busy work environment, my workplace is peaceful and filled with good people, making it a joy to work there. And when I go home, I have a kind husband waiting for me, making me even happier. I'm home, I called out as I walked through the door. Welcome back. Overtime again today? Michael asked. Yeah, it got hectic right before I left, I replied. I see. Thanks for your hard work. Dinner is ready, so warm it up and eat. Wow, thank you. Today's chicken curry, yeah? I'll go wash my hands right away. Michael takes care of the housework when I'm busy, and coming home to a delicious meal after a long day always lifts my spirits. I felt thrilled, and time flew by. 2 years had passed since we married, and we were still happy. One day, a new couple moved into the apartment next door. They seemed to be a young couple, 7 or 8 years younger than Michael and me. They came to greet us when they moved in and seemed very nice. After that, I often greeted my neighbor when I went to work or took out the trash. I even started chatting with his wife, and we built a good relationship. The couple next door, the Robinsons, were named Sarah and her husband. They were a working couple like us, living in the apartment while saving to build their own home. They had a clear vision and a plan to have enough funds in a few years. I admired their foresight and determination, especially considering their young age. We want a home of our own. I want to build one, too, I thought. However, I didn't know we could save enough money. My husband works for a company with a low salary, and although we both work, we aren't rich. We managed to save a little, but if we let our guard down, we could quickly end up in the red. Michael is working hard, but his salary hasn't increased much. Even if he gets promoted, his earnings won't significantly improve because of the company's low pay scale. Despite this, he doesn't plan to quit because he enjoys working with the people there. I could understand his sentiment. The people I work with are also kind, which keeps me going. With my earnings and Michael doing his best with the housework, I had no complaints. I wanted to continue living happily with my husband. However, amidst our contentment, something unexpected happened. One night, after working late due to a busy schedule, I arrived home just before the last train, exhausted. As I tried to enter my house, I was suddenly called out. Hey, what are you doing? Huh? Robinson, the husband from next door, spoke to me angrily. I rarely saw him since our commuting times didn't exist. I had only met him once when they moved in. I didn't even know his work schedule. What, what's? I asked, confused. Don't play. Don't. It's about its child. Child? Yo, you're not leaving your young child alone every day? I reported it. I was utterly bewildered. I don't have any, I protested. Robinson was furious. What? That lie doesn't work. I won't he with the von eyes. A young boy was sitting in front of your entrance. In front of H.U.'s? That's that Amarius Abdatashi shouted. And if you say, hat, my husband and I don't have any don't. Why am I being accused of something like this? Then the door of the next house opened, and Sarah came out. Hey, you're making G2, your noise. It's midnight, so it's your voice. Her husband can med down slightly after being warned. Emily, do you not have any children? I was a little worried because I'd seen a boy outside. I thought I shouldn't interfere with our family's affairs. The family saw it many times and was concerned. Even if it's for education, someone outside like that is abuse. But we don't have any, don't. I insisted, but the Robinsons looked at me suspiciously. What should I do? They don't believe me, do Enel. Anyway, don't do anything don't to the child, Mr. Robinson said, glaring at me before returning home. What on earth is going on? When I got inside, my husband was taking a shower. I could hear the sound of water running. I wanted to talk to him about what had happened, but he was in the bath and probably couldn't hear me. Couldn't, I thought. Well, come back. Was late. Yeah, had to, or overtime. I see. Thanks for your hard work, Michael said, ying his hair with a towel. I decided to ask him about what had happened earlier. Hey, so I got led it by our neighbor's husband terrifying face. What? Why? I won't know. Don't said, there's something about not leaving our child alone, I told Michael. Chill. My husband looks, buzz, Ed. Yeah, he said he saw a mall child sitting in front of our house a few times. Huh? What do you mean? I don't have any children. Don't, that's why I do, under that. We don't have children yet, don't. So, whose child was sitting in front of our house? It's scary to think that it's a stranger's child who has been bestranged in front of our house for so long. Oh yeah, you're right, Michael said, sizing up the gravity of the situation, his face twitching with concern. Moreover, we were suspended for child abuse by our neighbor. Why must we be misunderstood like this when we haven't done anything wrong the next day? I had a day off, but the police and child welfare officials came to visit. Mr. Robinson did report us. I explained that we didn't have any children. They were suspicious, but eventually, they were convinced. The police came today. Really? Michael was surprised that it had become such a big deal. Why do we have to go through this? I felt terrible. We were suspected of something we didn't do, and it made it difficult to live in this house recently. Even when I encountered Sarah while taking out the trash in the morning, she only nodded and didn't talk to me. I didn't deal with a lot of frustration in this awkward situation. But then something happened. One morning, after working the night shift, I saw Mr. and Mrs. Robinson leaving their house. I thought it was the wrong time to run into them, but it seemed like they were waiting for me. Good morning, Emily. Good morning. I'm so, did you work my night shift? Oh, yeah, but there's something I want tell you. Huh? The two, were very serious, but their demeanor was not hostile. So, I invited them into my house to hear them out. I led them to the living room and served them coffee. We're sorry, Mr. Wierinson began. We've been suspecting Yos a long time. Oh yeah, that was the atmosphere. So why are you apologizing all of a sudden? There was why in front of your house last night, too, Sarah explained. Just when I returned to work, I couldn't help but talk couldn't. I asked him if he was always being kicked out of this house. He said he comes to play with his mother at this house but isn't allowed in. Who isn't do you mean? I didn't understand, at first, either. So, I asked him if he lived in this house with his mother and father. He shook his head and said he and his mother lived in a different house. That's when I finally understood what he meant. Sarah tried to, correct expression, but I already understood what she wanted to say. So, my husband is having an affair with a woman who has a child and is bringing them here, right? I said. Sarah nodded cowardly. I'm sorry for saying such terrible things. I was just being half-hearted about justice and ended up insulting you. Her husband apologized again. Don't worry about it. Don't be surprised that the police were called, though. I'm sorry, T.E. Imensons kept apologizing, but my attention had already shifted to my husband's affair. I'm husband's causing tea. I'm with my husband's selfish action. My husband can't believe it, but it must be true if I can say so. I have a request for you, Sarah. Is that okay? I came up with a clear strategy. It was to tell my husband a fake work schedule and catch him with his mistress. I had my night shifts reduced for the following month's work schedule. T-months told Michael that I had a night shift on a particular weekend. I was waiting at the Robinsons' house that day was off. In the Robinsons' Inn, I went to a cafe to kill time. When Sarah returned from work in the evening, I went to their house. That night, when I went outside, there was a small boy in front of the entrance. My husband had brought a woman into the house. Emily, good luck. Okay, why? With cheers from the R-Bins, I opened the door and entered the house. From the living room, I could hear the voices of a man and a woman having a vivid conversation. I held up my smartphone and rushed into the living room. What are you guys doing? Oh my God, why is Lee here? Michael exclaimed. Why do you think so? Are you fooling around with a strange woman, naked? This is the child outside. When I told you that the neighbor warned me, you lied. Didn't you hear the didn't with the neighbor? You must have known the content then because it was a booming voice. So you took a shower to pretend you didn't hear it while not telling my story. You were acting because you knew the content, I confronted Michael. He was struck at the heart of the matter. He remained silent and hung his head. I can't believe it. Not only did you can't try me and have an affair, but you also left a small child outside. Well, what else could I do? See, couldn't do it if there were a couldn't mutter. I'm disgusted. You guys are monkeys in heat, I said, my voice dripping with contempt. The mistress glared at me. Shut up. It's the one who's being cheated. That's whose. By the way, that hat's is Michael's child, huh? I got pregnant. Michael's you decided to get married. I wasn't interested in getting married, and I was okay with it because I was getting child support. Child support? Oh, didn't you, Michael acknowledged that child, so he pays child support to me properly, she added smugly. At that moment, everything made sense to me. You didn't have a low salary. Why? You didn't have money left over because you were paying child support. My husband looked awkward. Why? You're the worst. I worked so hard for your whole life. I'm sorry, but I care about our marriage. Ed, I'm too, he stammered. What? How much more are you going to make fun of me? We're getting a divorce. Wait, we're. I don't want to get divorced. Enough, don't. But you're not home, FTN, because of your neurifts, so you're responsible too. Don't blame your bratha don't conveniently. And can you say that in front of your mother? The doorbell rang, and I let the visitors into the house. It was my parents-in-law. I had called them when I found out about my husband's infidelity. Michael, what are husbanding? Mom and Dad, why are you here? We received a call. You're doing some ing that betrays a meal. You're a disgrace. Michael was frightened his parents, angry voices. The mistress was parent-symboling. Emily, I'm sorry for my stupid son. I'll make sure he gets a divorce and pays me compensation. I'm sorry, said my mother-in-law. Wait a minute. Mom and Dad, what are you doing? Shut up. You're going home with us your parents, right now. Don't embarrass parents anymore in front odont. As they were forcibly pulling Michael away, the police and child welfare officials arrived. This is the woman. She left a small boy outside several times, said Mr. Robinson, pointing out the tress to the police. What's going on? Why do the police need it? She cried as she was taken to the police station. Seeing her pale face, I felt a little relieved. With my parents-in-law's help, I could divorce my husband without any problems. I also claimed compensation from my ex-husband and his mistress. It turned out that they had been having an affair since before my ex-husband and I started dating, and we had met many times even after we got married. I was shocked that I had married such a terrible man, but I was glad that I was able to break up with him before I got pregnant. If the father were such a horrible man, the child would have been pitiful. My parents-in-law took in and raised the boy in front of my house. The mistress would never see the child again, and my ex-husband would not return home as my parents-in-law cut ties with him. His actions were discovered at work, and he was demoted with a pay cut. My ex-husband's actions were deemed unacceptable since the president was a family ex-husband's low-paying job, and having to pay child support and compensation, my ex-husband was living a poor life. Of course, I decided to move. I didn't want to live in an apartment that didn't come to the scene of adultery. Now, I live alone in an apartment for singles and enjoy a comfortable life. I still have a good relationship with the Robinsons. 2 years later, they built their own home and invited me to their house. They also asked me to home parties, where I met a man and started dating him. He is Sarah's husband's boss, who is the same age as Sarah's husband, and he is doing very well. His subordinates highly trust him, and he is kind and wonderful. I don't know if we'll get married yet, but I am not dating, and my private and work lives are fulfilling. I hope to continue this kind of life. How is this story? Please subscribe to the channel. See you in the following video. The story of Emily and Michael is a compelling and emotionally charged narrative that delves into themes of trust, betrayal, and resilience. Here are some personal reflections on the story. Trust and betrayal. Emily's life initially seems idyllic, with Emily's marriage and a supportive relationship with her husband. However, the story takes a dark turn when his infidelity shatters the trust she placed in Michael. The revelation that Michael not only had an affair but also fathered a child with another woman is heart-wrenching. This betrayal is compounded by his deceit and the irresponsible act of leaving the child outside, which leads to accusations of child neglect against Emily. The depth of Michael's betrayal is profound, highlighting that Michael's single dishonesty can unravel an entire life built on trust. Resilience and strength. Despite the devastating betrayal, Emily demonstrates remarkable resilience. She handles the situation with a commendable level of composure and strategic thinking. Her decision to confront the issue head-on, gather evidence, and involve her in-laws showcases her strength. Emily's ability to navigate such an emotional experience and become stronger is inspiring. Her move to divorce Michael and start afresh in a new place reflects her determination to reclaim her life and happiness. Justice and accountability. The story also touches on the themes of justice and accountability. Michael's actions have severe consequences. His parents' involvement and stern response to his behavior underline the importance of holding loved ones accountable. Moreover, the role of the neighbors, particularly the Robinsons, in reporting the situation and later supporting Emily emphasizes the importance of community vigilance and support in ensuring justice is served. New beginnings. Emily's journey does not end with the dive miles instead, it marks a new beginning for her. Moving to a new apartment, maintaining a positive relationship with the Robinsons, and finding a potential new partner demonstrate her ability to move forward. This part of the story is a testament to the idea that even after profound setbacks, it is possible to find happiness and rebuild one's life. Conclusion. Overall, the story is a poignant reminder of the complexities of human relationships and the importance of honesty, trust, and resilience. It underscores that while betrayal can have devastating effects, overcoming it and finding new paths to happiness is possible. Emily's story is one of empowerment, showing that one can rise above adversity and reclaim one's life through strength and determination.